A teenage girl vanishes after work. 3 men are convicted, then exonerated. And decades later, a discarded smoothie straw may finally reveal the truth. This is the cold case that refused to stay buried. On November 10, 1984, 16-year-old Theresa Fusco finished her shift at Hot Skates Roller Rink in Lynbrook, New York. It was supposed to be her last night there. She had just been let go from the job and left the rink shortly before 10 p.m., beginning the short walk home. She never arrived. By morning, her family knew something was wrong. A routine night had turned into a nightmare. Nearly 3.5 weeks later, on December 5, 1984, Theresa's body was found. She had been hidden beneath leaves in a wooded area not far from the roller rink. Investigators confirmed she had been killed. Biological evidence was collected and preserved, but at the time, science could not yet provide clear answers. The Lynbrook community was shaken, and the pressure to solve the case mounted. In the mid-1980s, 3 local men were arrested and charged with Theresa's murder. They were tried and convicted in 1986. At the time, the verdicts appeared to bring closure. But even then, questions lingered. The convictions relied heavily on confessions and testimony, methods that would later face serious scrutiny. For years, the case was considered solved. In the early 2000s, everything changed. Advances in DNA testing allowed investigators to re-examine preserved evidence. The results were clear. None of the 3 convicted men matched the biological material collected from the crime scene. In 2003, their convictions were vacated. They were released after spending years behind bars for a crime they did not commit. Once again, the case was unsolved. After the exoneration, the investigation stalled. There were no clear suspects, no new evidence, but Theresa's family never stopped waiting for answers. Her parents lived decades without knowing who killed their daughter. The file remained open and quietly waiting for science to catch up. By the 2010s, a new investigative method began solving cold cases across the country: forensic genetic genealogy. Instead of matching DNA to known offenders, investigators searched family trees. Nassau County officials decided to try it. They retested old evidence, compared it to public genealogy databases, and slowly leads began to form. In early 2024, investigators identified a new person of interest. Surveillance began. Then came a critical moment. At a cafe in Suffolk County, the suspect discarded a smoothie cup and straw. Police recovered it before trash collection. DNA was extracted. When compared to the 1984 evidence, the result was a match. After 40 years, science had finally spoken. The DNA led investigators to 63-year-old Richard Bilodeau. At the time of Theresa's murder, Bilodeau lived less than a mile from the roller rink. In October 2025, a grand jury indicted him. He was arraigned on charges including second-degree murder. Bilodeau pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years to life in prison. At the announcement, Theresa's father stood beside prosecutors, more than 4 decades after losing his daughter. The case had finally moved forward. Her mother never lived to see this moment. For the Fusco family, the reopening brought pain, but also long-delayed hope. This case is not just about one crime. It's about how justice can fail, how science can correct the past, and how persistence matters. A teenager's life was taken. 3 innocent men lost years of freedom, and 1 piece of evidence waited decades to be heard. As the case moves through court, one question remains. After 40 years, will this finally bring closure? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for updates as this story continues.